I was just a lad, nearly 22, neither good nor bad, just a kid like you, and now I'm lost.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of NVD. I'm with Maddie again, my best friend.
Yeah.
We have a little bit more of a casual, fun episode today because, I just want to do it and I can do whatever I want.
Right.
But I also feel like we have a few hard-hitting topics.
Absolutely.
So today we're going to talk about social media because, this podcast is all about Gen Z, and I don't think you can talk about Gen Z without talking about the influence of social media.
Absolutely not.
So, of course, Gen Z is a wide range. I think it goes from 97 to the birth year 97 to 2005, maybe 2010.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter. They're still children. But so I think all Gen Z has kind of a different experience with social media.
Right.
For us, we kind of were introduced to social media at its birth, which I feel like is different than some of the younger Gen Z where it was already established as a thing.
Yeah.
Because we learned about social media at the same time social media was learning about itself.
Right.
I feel like nowadays for a lot of younger kids, their parents know what social media is and they might be on it and they have to consciously think about how they're going to treat social media.
Yes.
Whereas our parents didn't really know what it was when we were getting it.
Right. Yeah, there was no expectation. How old were you when you got Instagram and stuff?
I was 11, and I think that's also the same year it came out.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think I was like 13, maybe. I wasn't allowed to get it at first, but.
Okay. I think my mic is. Okay. So, anyway, so I feel like that's what sets us apart from younger Generation Z. But also, I think the biggest difference is when we got social media, it was a means of connecting with our friends. And we never thought of that as like a means to fame or that we probably weren't even like following like influencers at the time. We were just kind of following our friends.
Right.
So I feel like that makes a difference. But before we get started diving into that, I wanted to tie this in a little bit to Bob Dylan, of course, the muse of the podcast. He got famous relatively young. He was like late teens. And he had a really rocky, if you know anything about Bob Dylan, you know he had a really bad relationship with the press and fame, and he hated it because he felt like everyone expected this thing from him because he was famous, and that's not who he really was. And I feel like that's the path we are on, even just in our personal relationships for people who aren't famous, is we're putting on this front of who we are when it's not necessarily who we are.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, so let's start at the beginning, okay? So I remember when I was really young, MySpace was a thing. And
did you have a MySpace?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That's the thing is like
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's like millennials had MySpace and Facebook.
Yeah.
So I remember when I heard about MySpace, I was like, oh my God, I want MySpace.
So cool.
And my mom was obviously like, no, you can't have it until you're 13.
Right.
By the time I was 13, MySpace wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have Facebook either. I don't know what the rule was on Facebook. But by the time Instagram came out, it was so new. It was a new thing that, like, my mom didn't have those same things. Like, we just got it.
Right. Yeah. I remember the first time I was being introduced to Instagram, one of my close friends was kind of like advertising it to me because I had never heard of it before. And she told me that it's really cool because Harry Styles and Taylor Swift were on it. And that was my, like, I was like, oh, I have to, if I can follow them, like, that's
because
crazy.
it feels like you have this. Now it's like there isn't a wall between us and celebrities.
Right.
It's like we can see, and that's literally what it's turned into. And that's why, like, late night television has died off in talk shows. It's because we don't need a specific time to have a personal interaction with a celebrity.
Right.
We can watch them do what they do every single day.
Absolutely.
Well, so before we get into social media, we had phones too. And so I was actually talking to my cousin who has an 11-year-old. Okay. And he was saying that all of her friends have phones and they've had them for a while. And they haven't given her a phone. They've just given her like a smartwatch. But she doesn't even, she's not even like upset about it. Like she's not like, I want a phone because there's a pressure for social media. Oh, and so she just kind of feels like she has an excuse, which I find interesting because, like, I feel like the picture that people paint of Gen Z is that they just are obsessed with social media and they want it. But it makes sense that it would be something that's, like, scary.
Oh, yeah, especially for someone who experienced it at an earlier age than we did. Or now that it's, like, gotten to this point, I feel like when we were getting on, it was just kind of for funsies or whatever. But now there is this pressure to stay on social media, even as an adult. Like, I need to be seen and I need to, like, present myself to people in a certain way. And if I don't do that, I might be, like, missing out on something.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing that I feel a lot of pressure for in my line of work. And then also in any creative line of work. And honestly, I kind of talked about this, Sebastian, in any line of work, a social media presence is almost necessary. It's like you have to be active to like show yourself and show who you are. Like before, our parents would always say like, don't post anything on social media that you wouldn't want other people to see. Like they're gonna find that and use that to like not hire you. Right. But now it's almost like that is part of your resume.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I feel like Instagram has become like Gen Z's LinkedIn almost.
That's
like,
what I said in the last episode.
Yes,
I guess you didn't listen.
Getting around to it. That's so awkward.
No, it's not. It's okay. I don't care.
But yeah, we have, even with all of the like problems that social media has caused, it has been like a networking tool for people our age, which is so crazy.
Yeah, networking for jobs, but then also just, like you said, staying in the loop. A lot of people get news on social media. And then again, even with your close friends, you feel like you have to be on it. You know, like there's so many of our friends who like get exhausted by it and then they want to take a break and they take a social media break. But it's a lot of times I see them like coming back.
Oh yeah.
Because you can't. It's like part of being alive, and it really it sucks. And it's like, yeah, once you have it, you have it.
Right.
And there's this quote from Bob Dylan that he talks about with being famous, which is privacy is something you can sell, but you can't buy it back. And I feel like that's kind of the Pandora's box that social media opened up, and it kind of sucks for us and even more for the younger Gen Zs that this is just, we have to, and I guess this kind of comes into like cancel culture. Like we are presenting who we are from like the time we're like 11, and if we screw up, everyone can see it. And it's permanent. But anyways, so all these kids have phones, and you know, I feel like people criticize parents a lot and kids for having phones so young, but it's necessary sometimes, especially just the way the world is. Right. I got a phone a lot earlier than my friends because we didn't have a landline. We had a what was it called? A magic jack. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's similar to, it's like reverse dial-up internet, which, so you had to plug it into your computer and then it was like a landline. Oh. But it was like a as seen on TV thing, and so it didn't work for long. Right. So I was home alone a lot, so my parents got me and my brother a track phone to share. Okay. Which was just like basically a landline so we could communicate. Right. And then we had like slide phones, and I remember being so, like, I felt so cool because no one else had a phone. This was in middle school.
I missed out on slide phones.
But it was cool for a little bit until everyone else got iPod Touches. Ooh. And I could only play Oregon Trail on my slide phone, and they were playing Temple Run, Doodle Jump, all the games. I was so jealous, and I never had an iPod Touch. But anyways, I feel like obviously parents do have the option to, and now I'm being way too loud. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm going to get the audio right one day. But anyways, obviously the parents can, there are alternatives. There are, like, they can do like a phone that just has the basic functions. They had whatever watch. I don't know. I've never heard of that watch.
Yeah.
But I understand why. And also, like, a lot of people, we used to have like a family computer growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I don't know, but it's a lot cheaper to just get your child a phone that has everything on it.
Yeah.
And they can use that for their homework. Like, we used our phones as our computer in high school. We didn't have a computer.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, I kind of understand it, which is, pause, I have a hot take here.
Okay.
I think phones are too cheap. Not too cheap, like, I'm glad they're that price, but, like, think about, our phone is everything.
Oh, yeah.
Our phone is our computers cost more than that, but our phone now, I mean, there's some, like, obviously software you can't, but it's like, your phone has everything on it.
Yeah.
And
it's more efficient to bring with you places than a computer.
That's just my hot take.
No,
but,
I see where you're coming from, but I hope someone doesn't hear this.
Well, yeah.
They're trying to switch up the price.
But just pause for a little fun moment here. What were your favorite, like, early Apple games?
Oh my gosh. I'm one of those people who would, it's like the same thing with Bumble for us now. I download it for a day, I play it like a game, and then I delete it. So I never had like a long-term game app on my phone, but probably Temple Run or Candy Crush.
I agree, because I want to be into phone games so bad.
Me too.
Every couple months, I'll see someone, like a coworker, playing a phone game, and I'm like, oh, like, maybe I should try it out. Like, maybe it'll give me, but I can never keep it. It doesn't stay with me.
No.
I really like I remember when I saw my friend playing Temple Run, and I was like, I need that game. But by the time I had a smartphone, I had an Android. And nowadays, if we're being honest, like, or Samsung and iPhone, like, they're the same.
Right.
Or if not, I mean, I don't know a lot. And people want to call me, like, a cheap, because I just like iPhone. But yeah, I do like iPhone better, because I don't know how to use technology, and it's easy, and I know how to use it. But back then, they didn't have, Android sucked. They really did suck.
Oh, yeah. That was like a big meme almost.
And it still is, but but then it was real.
Yeah.
And I had an Android, but someone had an Apple product, and they got an Apple sticker. I don't know if it was a friend or something. And I put it on the back of my Android.
She did. The mirror selfies I've seen with that phone.
But I wonder if that's a thing now where, like, I don't know, they didn't really mention it when I was talking to my cousins, but, like, I wonder, like, do other kids, like, think she's lame for not having, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, that makes sense.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I remember even in middle school, before I got my first phone or I got Instagram, like, people would totally clown on me for that, which is crazy. I don't even think, like, by terms and conditions we were supposed to have Instagram when we were in middle school.
We weren't, but they didn't have anything in place,
right,
to, like, guard that. And but when we first got Instagram, or at least when I got it, it was like you followed some of your friends, but most of your friends didn't have it.
Yes.
I remember following, like, my youth pastor and my, like, just random people.
Right.
And then it was kind of like, honestly, I know people did, like, selfies and mirror selfies with, like, MySpace. I know, I'm not saying they didn't exist before, but, like, that wasn't even as much of a thing. I remember I would just want to post something.
Yes.
So I would do two things. I would either take pictures of, like, my nail polish. Like, not even on my hands sometimes. Sometimes just, like,
Just
a
the
picture
bottle.
of my nail polish. Or I would look up clip art pictures.
And post them.
Yeah, like, remember how when I was younger I was really into blue giraffes?
Oh, yes.
I found, like, a blue giraffe, and I posted that, probably with no caption.
Right.
Um,
Or with the, like, really heavy, like, bluish Instagram filter
Oh,
over
yeah.
it. You know what I'm...
yeah, I'm trying to think of what other thing. I would just think of things, and I wanted to post. It wasn't, like, a profile about me.
Yeah.
It was just, like, random things.
Right, like a gallery almost. I know. And yeah, when I first got Instagram, I mostly posted like pictures of me and my friends all holding hands while we jumped into a pool.
Oh, that was...
That was big.
See, I think there was a period that I had it before you. Like, that, where...
Oh, you definitely did.
There was nothing. Like, it was like, I would go on there and look at people's pictures and look at my, like, there was no point. And because we didn't know what it was. Like, we were just figuring out how to use it. But nowadays, kids go on knowing how to use it.
Yeah.
I follow this one girl. She's, like, 13. And, well, it sounds really weird. It's her parents run the account. It's all safe. And she does, like, makeup, get ready with me's, and talks about, like, her time at school. And I love it because it's, like, it's, like, nostalgic. It's, like, you remember being,
Yes.
like, 13 and like, she told a story about how one of her friends who's a boy wouldn't talk to her because somebody else told him that she liked him, which is a tale as old as time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I really appreciate that because it shows, like, kids, they have a lot of different things and they're having a completely different experience than we did, than our parents did, than anyone else did. But it's the same thing.
Right. They're still experiencing the same things. Although I did recently see someone took a video from outside of their bedroom window of the house across from theirs, and it was like, the caption was just basically something about, like, I think their parents told them to go play outside.
Oh,
And
I saw that
these
too.
kids are, like, touching the leaves on a bush. They're, like, walking in circles or doing TikTok dances. Like, it doesn't look like... I don't know if that's the case for every child now, but it looks like people don't know, or kids aren't raised knowing how to, like, maybe use their imagination or...
I understand that because we did a lot of things out of boredom. Like, we would, like, you probably did this where you, like, made, like, stews with, like, leaves and, like, rainwater.
Yes.
And because we would spend so many hours outside that we had to find those things to do. And maybe that is the case. But, I don't know, it seems like always thrown on the child and making fun of the child, which I think is unfair because that's another thing. And this isn't parents' fault. I understand this. But, like, when our parents were kids, they would leave the house in the morning and not come back until the sun went down. So they had all that time. And for us, like, I think we played outside a fair share. I don't know. I don't know if it was a rule or not, but, like, I don't think I was allowed to leave my neighborhood.
Oh, no.
And
not when I was little.
Kids probably have even more rules now. Like, parents are even more worried
about,
like, they probably don't have that time to be out and about.
No, I totally agree. And I do think it's a parental thing because we're also, like, I don't know if, have you seen all about, like, there's a bunch of teachers leaving jobs right now in, like, elementary and middle school things just because kids don't give a shit anymore. And they're, like, snapping back at their teachers, and then their parents don't care. And I'm not saying that's totally connected to, like, social media, but it is interesting. I've seen just in public places, whatever, a lot of parents rely on technology as a crutch to entertain their kid.
It's true.
Yeah, and so I don't think it's the child's fault, but I do think that we're leaning into technology and not giving children the same amount of, like, space to be bored. Like, kids don't really know how to be bored anymore, you know?
I agree. And I also feel like another factor, I saw this Instagram reel because I don't have TikTok, but it was like it showed the decades like 50s, 60s, 70s, and it was like in the 50s it was like a dad and the mom was like away and the dad was like go make me some dinner, like or and then like in 60s the dad was just like drinking on the couch and was like have fun, like not really paying attention. Right. And then anyways the 2000 like the now one was like okay, so we have 5 sensory games here and like all this, and I always see parents doing the sensory things and they're so and it's because I mean we feel this way too. We have all these things that we didn't get as children that like affect us now that we want to fix, and maybe there's some overcorrection, but I just feel like there's just a whole new approach to parenting. But back to that girl, like I said, a lot of the same things, but the difference is she, like, first of all, you can definitely tell she's 13, but she's not, and she has like, you know, her teeth aren't amazing, like, but she's not like that awkward. Like, I have hours and hours of videos of myself at 13 that were like kind of like YouTube videos, and I talked to the camera and I did stuff, but I never posted them on YouTube and I never edited them together, so it's just like hours of me talking and I'm really like awkward and weird, and I was trying to be like people who I saw on YouTube, and that was like earlier YouTube, like once like vlogging started, so like not quite like right after like Fred era, but like before
My Life as Ava era, or around the
like right in between that. And like when they're just like being like goofy and doing jump cuts and like but anyways, but like well, first of all, like cameras are better now, and editing is a lot easier now. Like I didn't have access to things like, I think iMovie came out, but I had an Android. And the Android like ones were not doing their thing, but anyways, like she's trying to embody the makeup influencers that she sees, but she's doing a good job of it. Like it looks like if she was just older it would be the same thing. It's not like, she probably will watch it back and be a little embarrassed, but it's not really embarrassing.
It's not the same thing. I feel like you could say that about like a lot of tweens and teenagers like makeup now also. I was watching makeup videos in like 2013, 2015 where like we were still using those little sponges on our eyes and stuff. Like makeup wasn't good back then. I know
makeup has got, I was thinking about that too. They and that's, it makes sense that they know a lot more and they're a lot smarter because they have all this access to information. But another thing that's interesting is when we started using social media, it was kind of just for the kids. But now, not only are adults on there, elderly people, like everyone, but like parents will have it, and that'll be part of their income. And then a lot of times the parents are like also doing a lot of content with their kids. And I know that's something that
I find that very interesting. I'd have my own problems with it. It's just interesting. I think it's just like maybe human. I don't know what it is, but like people realize that they can make money off of something and they do it no matter how intrusive or exploitative it can be sometimes, especially with young children who can't give consent to be on the internet.
And it's weird because like they're just being filmed from the moment, like, but this has been going on for a while. It's not now, like there's probably hundreds of parents in our city who do that. But like, did you ever watch the Shaytards? Which, by the way, what did that mean? And was that allowed?
What did that stand for? No, but I think I saw videos about like the downfall. I watched it for a little bit, and then I know there was a downfall. I know they got divorced.
I
think.
Well, I didn't know that. Spoiler alert.
I know.
Well, yeah, but there was also, I'm sure they had their own family problems that maybe are unrelated, but they also, I think part of it was like, I mean, they did daily vlogging. They vlogged for at least 10 years. There was a 10-year, I think, period where they're vlogging every single day. And like the oldest kid when I stopped watching was like probably like 13. So like they had been filming since he was 3. I don't know. I'm sure I'm getting a lot of it wrong.
Oh
but
my
like
God.
basically that was like part of their life.
Yeah.
And like they're just being seen. And even though like obviously fame definitely wavers, like no one's talking about them anymore.
Right.
Back to the Bob Dylan quote, it's like that'll exist forever. And even if it doesn't exist, well, I mean, like people, like it's gonna be if he like they stopped filming probably when he was 15.
Yeah.
He starts getting jobs in his 20s, like,
Yep.
and if I mean nowadays I'm sure all jobs Google people.
Oh,
like,
totally.
And that'll come up, and that's like it's not gonna like not get him a job. Maybe I mean I don't know. It's just like it exists forever, and that's how it will be for like TikTok families.
Yes, so many people. I know, and it's one of those things where it seems like when they're younger, like toddler, baby, whatever, it's cute and stuff, but also I've been learning this since I was a kid, so I don't know why parents don't think about this. There are thousands of predators, millions of predators online, like all the time, looking for family content like that. But also, by the time they get to like middle school and stuff, if their friends look them up, these kids get bullied so badly for the shit that's put out about them, like from their parents.
Yeah, no, I mean that I think that's part of the reason. Oh yeah, they would, and that sucks.
Yeah.
I remember even being like part of the reason I didn't post my videos on YouTube when I was younger is because I didn't want people from school to see them, which was kind of like I feel like part of the fun part of social media. I remember a lot of the YouTubers that I was watching in like 2012 would always talk about, and whether this is true or not, I don't know, because people like to put on this front.
Right.
But like, oh, like I don't fit in at school.
Yeah.
And like this is my space to be like myself. But yeah, it is I mean like most kids are like this. Like I didn't even want my mom to pick me up from school. Like I found that so embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, no.
So yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be nice to have that. But it's also, I'm sure a lot of parents are like, well, this is how we make money. Like this is how we put food on the table.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just glad it isn't me.
Well, taking a break from talking about the horrors of social media on the new generation, including our generation, and also low-key kind of doing the same thing that we hate when older people do.
Right.
Let's go back to our experiences and talk about other apps.
Okay.
So we talked about Instagram.
Yep.
And then Kik was a thing.
Oh my
which
gosh.
was just like texting.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it was better. I think because some people didn't have phones. They had iPod touches.
Like, I know a lot of people like in the UK talk about like WhatsApp. I feel like it's kind of
I think
maybe not.
No, they do because because people in the UK travel across countries more often.
So true.
Right? Because they're closer. So I think they use WhatsApp because you can use it anywhere, but I don't have enough information.
Yeah, I don't know. I also think Kik felt a little bit more like secretive. Like maybe your parents didn't know what the app was, so like if they checked your messages or something, they wouldn't look to see if you had Kik, so you could like have conversations with different people. Also, did you ever use, there were features on it that allowed you to speak to strangers randomly.
Yes, I don't know how often I use that, but I liked it because you could like customize the colors. I think it was because Android was so fucking ugly, but Kik had like fun. I was like, it like, I don't know why I'm acting like I was oppressed from having an Android, but like it made me feel like there was no boundaries between me and because there was a lot of things that you couldn't do between an iPhone and anyways.
Yeah, no, and that's still the case. Like if you get a group chat and there's one person with an Android,
oh my God, it's over. Why
Yeah.
isn't our technology good enough to?
I think they just want to make it harder for us, honestly.
Yes. But yeah, so we had Kik and then Snapchat. And I remember when Snapchat came out and I was in middle school, and I want everyone to know the truth. I literally said, I don't get the point of this. This is stupid. So we're just sending pictures. Like, I did not get it at all. But of course I got it because I guess I am a sheep.
Right. Everyone was getting it.
And that was when I got Snapchat, like, that's literally all you could do. There were no stories. You just sent a picture and it lasted 10 seconds.
Yes.
And then you could draw on it, but, like,
not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
But then there was the climax of Snapchat, which I think was when we just started high school.
Freshman year of high school.
And that's when they came out with stories and filters. Those filters were crazy.
The rainbow, like, vomit filter was...
That one and the dog filter.
Oh, we took actual selfies, like, thinking that we looked cute. With that fucking dog ear and, like, tongue.
Well, I think that was actually an important point. Mm-hmm. Because that was when... Because it blurred out your face. And I remember I would feel a lot more confident posting with the filter because I looked better.
Yes.
And I think that's when you, like, everything changed when you realized, like, Facetune existed, but that's when, like, you realized how easy it was.
Yeah.
And then that's when we got into Facetune.
Oh, my gosh. The Snapchat to Facetune pipeline. Yeah, that's so true. I know, because I probably started Facetuning my own pictures freshman year, maybe end of 8th grade,
right?
Freshman year of high school, which is crazy.
And I didn't know at first, and we would take a lot of pictures together because every time you did, because that's when social media was like, it's like every time you did something, you had to take a picture.
You had to take a picture and post it.
And I didn't know really until you showed me. Like,
I know.
I wasn't like, oh, she Facetuned this. Even if I sent you the pictures and you posted them, like I didn't know. But it was yeah, we really, it was like, I mean, we really didn't like a lot of things about our body, and like when it made it a lot better to be able to like adjust ourselves. But then it was upsetting because like I would on my Instagram I have all these pictures that I feel okay about, and then it's like I get mad every time I look in the mirror.
No, yeah, and it's also like I can have this whole fake body and face that I've like cultivated by myself in this digital space, but like when people see me in person, they're not going to be seeing the things I'm like putting out, you know? Like,
and then it like makes you like have this weird thing where you like can't let anyone else take pictures of you, or like you need to have them on your phone, that way you can edit them before you send them out. And we probably thought that we were the only ones really doing it. And we were like, no, that's just how they look.
Right.
Naturally. And yeah, Facetuning was, it like came and it went, but it was like still really like, and it definitely contributed to issues that we have.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was trying to make like my nose smaller and my lips bigger when I was like a literal child. Like, and so now I can, going back to like the younger part of Gen Z and stuff who's just now getting technology, I can't imagine how they feel when they're seeing like all of these influencers and micro celebrities who have either gotten plastic surgery or like completely edited their faces. Like that must be such a hard thing to take in, because even at that point we weren't like really trying to make ourselves look like anyone else. We just wanted to look like a beauty standard. But now, like, I don't know, with like the Kardashians, things like that, like if I was that age when they were like posting all of their pictures and stuff, I don't know what that would have done to my mental health or my image of myself.
I mean, I feel like we had a little bit, like just with watching beauty gurus, it was like you wanted to be them.
Yeah.
And it was different than like if our parents saw a movie star and wanted to be them, because it was like, oh, well, they're a movie star and they're rich and they have this. But it's like, oh, this is just a girl in Connecticut who's like perfect.
Right.
But yeah, I had something to say and then it just flew away. But oh yeah, I remember a big thing that they started to try and implement in schools when we were younger, And I wonder how it is today. If you're younger and you're listening, call in. But they would do ads about cyberbullying, or like play videos about cyberbullying in school. And I wondered if you ever got cyberbullied.
Wow. Freshman year.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Of high school, Sydney and I made a fake Instagram to bully me. But we kind of did it because Instagram was still like a pretty small thing. We kind of did it just for ourselves. Like, we weren't like, oh, we hope someone finds this and sees that someone on the internet is bullying Maddie. Like,
yeah, we made a hate account. I've completely forgot about that. Which must have meant we saw other hate accounts.
Yes.
Okay.
And one way or another, our class found it, our high school class, and they tore that account to shreds until it was deleted. I don't know if you remember that. Everyone was like defending me and you. They were like, yeah, I like one of the girls in our class in high school, because we had like only a select amount of people in our class. One of them, she was like adamant to get that account shut down, and we had to delete it ourselves.
They didn't know?
No, we never told them.
Wait, really?
Yes.
I'm so surprised at this memory. Like, I kind of vaguely remember it, but and then I feel like we kind of got bullied by those private school boys. But like, and it was through the internet, but it wasn't like they would do it it didn't really have to do with the fact that they were behind the screen.
No.
And I also don't think we really cared that much.
No.
Like, I mean, like, just a little bit, because it was, like, boys, and, like, we were insecure.
Yeah, and sometimes it was, like, making fun of our, like, bodies or, like, faces.
Yeah. They said I looked like a pterodactyl. And the thing that bothered me about it is the picture that they were referencing. Like, I really did look like a pterodactyl. No, I still think I look like a pterodactyl in that picture, and that's why it really hurt. It's because they got it right.
No, teenage boys are the worst because they know how to pick you apart.
They do.
In the most specific way. Oh, my gosh.
But I think I did in middle school. There was this girl who was, like, I didn't know her, but she would, like, make mean comments on everyone's post. And I had posted a picture of my hand with nail polish on it, and I had wrapped my hand around the nail polish.
Right.
Cute little, it was Crackle nail polish.
Shout out
amazing.
To Crackle.
And she had commented fat fingers.
No way. Okay, I never experienced anything like that.
And well, it wasn't even that. Like, she just commented that. I didn't know her. It was just like fat fingers, and I think maybe one of my friends said something back, and like it kind of did, like it kind of stung, but at the same time I was just like, what is this girl like? When she
right? What's the problem? No, what causes people to do stuff like that?
I don't know, and I like that one girl I was talking about who is 13 now, and it makes like Instagram stuff. She talks about how her friends make fun of her, or not her friends, but people at school make fun of her for her Instagram, but it's clearly just because they're jealous.
Oh, yeah.
And she kind of sees that, even though it definitely hurts. Like, she got sent some things. Like, she got sent Mr. Beast chocolate bars, and they claimed that, like, she just bought them herself and was like, but she's a queen. Right. I love this girl.
Oh, my gosh.
She ended up.
You should get her on here.
She lives here.
Huh?
Yeah, she lives here. I gotta.
You have to reach out.
I have to reach out to her. Oh my God. So I will. I don't want to say her name. I want to promote her, but I feel like I just feel weird doing that because she's a minor.
Y'all can find out once she's on the show.
Yes. So, she responded by gifting one of the chocolate bars to the girl. And I was
That's so iconic.
No, and you can tell, like, she's, like, fairly mature, even though but not in a way where it's, like, you're trying to act older than you are.
Right.
But it's just, like, I honestly think it comes with social media. It's, like, kids have to operate on a higher level of thinking because of social media.
Yes, so much more self-awareness and, like, language. I was walking through a Target a little while back, and I saw, like, a child that was, it wasn't a baby, but it was old enough, or it was, like, young enough to be, like, in the cart, like, in the little area where babies can sit. And it was having a full conversation with their mother. I keep calling it Ed. I'm so sorry, baby.
I always accidentally do that.
Yeah.
No, my other best friend has a kid and she's really smart. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I have no idea if that baby just happens to be really smart or if like, I'm guessing, it makes sense that children, our parents, you probably had this. My mom told me all the time when I was younger, like, oh, I would have never been able to do something like that when I was your age.
Yeah.
It's literally human evolution. I think we just get smarter. But I do think social media is making that go at an exponential rate.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, she does Q&As and she talks about like her mom has some rules for her on social media. Like her mom watches all of her videos before she posts them, like different things like that. And her mom let her get Instagram, but she didn't let her get TikTok because she thinks TikTok has like all these terrible things, and it does. But she was like, I honestly do want you to get social media now, so you're introduced to it when you're young and you tell me things, and not later on when you're a teenager and you won't tell me what you're doing. And that was always my mom's philosophy in any like thing of parenting. So I kind of get that. Like, it may be important to introduce it to, because it's gonna be here for a while.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's just something interesting.
That is interesting. I don't know, because even though my mom was kind of the same way, like on things like Kik where you could talk to like strangers and stuff like that, or like just on like kids games on like computers, like my mom would always warn me about these interactions that could possibly happen with like predators or older people, but whenever they did, I just kind of like shut it out, like I like blocked or whatever. But then I like was so scared about it that I didn't tell anyone. I hope kids are getting more comfortable with like sharing information that they find on the internet with their parents, but I think also because it was so new when we were getting into it, like I just didn't know how to digest or like almost not feel guilty about having. I don't know if you had any of those.
No, definitely, where you would just kind of like, it was like one of those things where you block them, you get rid of, sometimes you delete the app.
Yep.
And just go to bed and don't think about it until it just goes out of your brain.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. And yeah, I've done that before. Or like when I've thought I've been getting scammed or something.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the things she says, I love this girl, clearly. Her mom was like, don't be afraid to use the block button. Mm-hmm. And so like she says she just uses it like willy-nilly, but she also makes her respond to comments. Like like anytime someone says something, like she like responds to the comments. I don't know if she does that anymore because she does have a pretty good size following.
Right.
She did say that she asked her mom and she was like, if you knew I was going to get this big on Instagram, would you have let me have one? And her mom was like, no, absolutely not. I would not have done
wow.
it. Yeah. But back to the cyberbullying. One of my favorite topics.
Yep.
I want to talk about something that I think was so wholesome on the internet, which was the app called Brighton.
Yes.
And Brighton was an app where you could basically, you like friended people, but then the only thing you could do is send people anonymous compliments.
Yep.
So you could pick who you were sending it to, so you know those people, and you knew who your friends were.
Yeah.
So it had to be someone on that list. But, like, obviously they didn't know who was saying it.
Right.
And two things. First of all, that could have easily been used as a way to hurt people.
Oh, yeah.
But I honestly don't remember that happening.
No.
And it was really exciting because it was, like, when we just wanted to get into, like, dating, but, like, we would never, like, approach anyone.
Right.
So it was kind of like you could do that. And people did just send each other compliments.
Yeah. No, I remember, like... It was like if Ask FM was like a good thing. I never had an Ask FM, but like I don't think I ever got any mean comments. My stomach is growling. I don't think I got any hate or anything on there. And what was so neat about it is that like all of the compliments that we were giving and that were given to us, I feel like were so genuine.
Yeah.
It was honestly like probably the best app I've ever had.
And it was right when we like started high school, so it was like we were meeting all these new people.
Yep.
Everyone wanted it was great. It only lasted for like a couple months, if that. But I missed that app, and I wish everyone had that experience.
I know. I wish kids today would have that where they were just being like uplifted by random people. And it was also fun to try and like think about like, oh my gosh, who said this?
Yeah, because it would sometimes be where it was clearly like a guy.
Yes.
And then you would want to, but I mean, it never turned into a relationship or anything like that. But and then okay, so were there any other big social media platforms? Because I feel like, there was Twitter, and I kind of had Twitter.
Oh, I never had Twitter.
You never had Twitter? I feel like that's our generation. We didn't have Twitter. Like, the older Gen Zs did.
Yeah.
But
I know some people that do, but...
I had Twitter in middle school and high school. And honestly, sometimes you had Twitter. You did have Twitter.
I did have Twitter, but I've tried re-downloading it recently. I don't get it. I don't get how it works.
No, I don't get it. And a lot of people don't like it. I mean, and there's a lot with it. But even before Elon Musk took over, a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah. So maybe not. I've never had it. I've never gotten the hang of it and kept an account for more than like a couple days.
Right. I think it was really fun when it was just like, here's a stupid thing I can say.
Right.
Like a one-liner. And like I said, whenever I do look at it, which hasn't been in a while, but I'm like, this is hilarious.
Oh no, I bet you ate up Twitter. And
it's different than watching like those old YouTube videos that I have of myself, because it's like text. I can't see myself saying it, and it's like sometimes I don't remember having that thought, and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I wanted to share that with the world.
That is so funny.
Do you remember our saddest short story? So there's this like age-old story that's like
age-old.
It's true. Everyone knows it. It's like baby shoes for sale, never worn. It's the saddest short story. And that was in, I don't know if we learned about it in English class or we were just talking about it.
Yeah.
But there was also that meme of like an old man sitting alone.
Yes.
At a McDonald's. And do you remember what the short story was that we made? The saddest short story?
Oh my gosh.
Old man,
you'll have to.
There was some other random goofy part that we added to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Hold on. Now I'm thinking of. Oh, now I just want to talk about memes. But now I'm thinking of the guy, the old man who ate
paint. Yes. He looks like someone that I know. Like, I don't know who he looks like, but oh my gosh, that was so. Now I want to talk about memes.
Let's talk about memes, because I was thinking about it and I just realized that there used to be memes like that would be popular and everyone would use that template, and like every year there would be different ones, but now it's not. It's TikTok sounds.
Yeah.
It's not as visual. Like, the visual is whatever you want it to be, and it's the sound.
Right. And I think that honestly slowly started during Vine. I don't know if you ever made any Vines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But not good ones.
Right. Nothing viral.
We used to watch Vine compilations.
Oh, yeah. And
the thing about the Vine compilations is that I saw this thing that said, Vine isn't as good as you remember it being. And I agree. I mean, I loved Vine, and it was great.
I need to look back into it.
But I agree there are a lot of bad ones. But whenever we look back on it, we just watch the Vine compilations, which just have, like, the best ones all together.
Yeah. And it's almost more of, like, a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
Like,
everything is better than it was.
Right.
In our heads.
Absolutely. Like, I remember my sister and I were driving, and there was that, like, road work ahead sign, and she was like, I sure hope it does. And when she said it, because that was, like, you know, a really big Vine at the time, I was like, wait a second. That's not very funny. Like, no, it was just, like,
I knew that one wasn't funny, but I also, that's why it was. I have a lot of things where when things really aren't funny. They're kind of funny to me.
Oh yeah.
But I always think about, because Vine died, I don't think this would be the case if it was still like a thing and people were making more. I think those Vines would just got lost.
Yeah.
But because there's only like probably about 100 Vines that were really big because of its short lifespan, we all know those Vines.
Oh yeah.
And I bet you we quote it when we're like 50. And like we'll tell our kids like, oh, this was like, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
Because it was such a short lifespan.
Right.
That we'll always remember them.
Yeah, I know, and that's kind of a magical, like, we've talked about all of the good and bad things about social media, but I do think that's a really cool part of having social media. Like, you can go anywhere in the country right now, and if you, like, were talking to people our age and you quoted a Vine or maybe a really popular TikTok, everyone would know what you were talking about. You can go
anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And say, he's widowy hitting the gwitty. I learned about that today, actually, from the TMG podcast. Everywhere in the world, people say that.
Found out about that?
Well, I knew about that, but they specifically, I'm just citing my sources here, right. So I'm not
that's important
plagiarizing.
Yeah.
Noel said that he just had experiences in like Ireland and where, and they don't say it in their accent, they break into the American accent, but that kind of upset me because I would rather like
hear them say in their Irish way. That's so
But
funny.
no, we have a lot of things as a generation to be ashamed of, but Vine is something we can be proud of.
Absolutely.
Even if we shouldn't be. No, but we can talk about some of our favorite memes from that 2014 to 2018 period. Oh my god. We really, really, really liked the Why You Always Lyin'.
Oh,
which I guess was a sound too.
That was kind of, yeah.
But it wasn't used in the same way.
No, absolutely not. But we like, when I say we like rehearsed that song, we like rehearsed it.
And we're not singers.
No,
but we would like try and sing it in like a beautiful
Yes, we would
way.
like harmonize, or at least attempt to harmonize. And we sang it in front of people too. Like this wasn't just like a us activity. Oh my God, what other thing?
I think something that's interesting about meme culture, and I'm talking specifically, like, because memes are obviously still a thing,
yeah.
But I think they take on a different shape than they did at that time,
yes.
Where it was kind of just a template. It was usually an image, like a still frame, a caption, and then sometimes there would be the text above. That would be the thing that changed.
Right, yeah, like the top text, bottom text.
Well, not even that. That was even before. I mean, like, when it would kind of look like it was on Instagram, but it would be a screenshot from Twitter, where the person who tweeted it posted the image of the meme, and then their text was their own version of the meme, or like the way they were applying it to the situation. But what I think is interesting is our entire generation, as well as young millennials. So young millennials and older Gen Z, like, we're very shaped by SpongeBob. Oh, and like everyone talks about it. And then memes, a lot of them are SpongeBob. Like, and there were like years after years where it would be a different character or a different image from the show, but we like, for some reason, like, something about SpongeBob stuck with us.
Yes.
And we've just carried it on.
Oh, I couldn't tell you the amount of TikToks I see constantly.
Yeah, there's still TikTok sounds that are SpongeBob.
Yes, I saw a TikTok earlier today about the my leg guy, you know, my leg.
Yes.
But I also see TikToks constantly where it's like when you hear that someone weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob when they were a kid, and it's like, oh, this kid's about to be lame or whatever.
Right.
And it's crazy that not only do we all like recognize how influential that show was to our sense of humor, but we also like, it's almost like a gateway into like getting to know someone.
No, it's definitely a connection piece. Like, I've talked about it a few times at my job that I just got. Like my boss had asked me like if I had watched it. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, good, because the other two people are like she's older than me, my boss, but the other two people we work with are like a lot older. Oh my God, one of them would kill me if she heard me say that. But like she was like, yes, and she was like, this is so good, because now whenever something happens and I reference a SpongeBob episode, I was like, yeah, like I'll understand.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I want to know what it was. Have you gone back and watched it, like old episodes?
I've watched a little bit of it, and I've also like watched a lot of videos kind of about it and the musical. I feel like one of the biggest things is that was my first time experiencing like what's it called, like almost like Eric Andre shitpost level randomness, where it would just like cut to something, or like there would be one of those extreme like close-ups of a character.
Yes.
Like, just absolute randomness.
I agree. I see your translation from SpongeBob to Eric Andre, and I appreciate that. That's why, wow, now we're just talking about shows, but that's why I really liked the Amanda Show. Did you watch?
Didn't watch it.
Oh my God.
I know.
But it was just like random, like being goofy, and that's what was funny. Like it didn't need to. I mean, not that that's not existed. I know that everyone always wants to like.
Right.
But that was just like the first, like it's like you can be like being weird is funny.
Oh,
even though it seems like, I don't know. And it I guess maybe SpongeBob, maybe we liked it so much because we were like, oh, our parents don't understand this, but we understand it.
Oh yeah, and I think it also like had a really good, because just thinking about like even millennial humor versus our humor, like I think a lot of parents might not have wanted their kids watching it because it was mean. Sometimes like the characters would have like quick, witty like responses to other, like that one guy comes in while Patrick is trying to broom with the opposite side of the broom, and he comes into the Krusty Krab and he's like, hey man, did you just blow in from Stupid Town? Like there were like just mean comments, but
did you ever watch Max and Ruby?
Yeah. Was that mean?
Yes, they were so.
One of them didn't talk, I thought.
Yeah, and he was a menace, and then Ruby was a bitch.
Damn.
But I do think that. Go on though about your thoughts.
Oh no, I think in conclusion to whatever I already forgot what I was saying. Like our humor, a lot of Gen Z's humor, I feel like now is either self-deprecating or we're kind of like jokingly like hateful
or jokingly nihilistic.
Yes.
And maybe that comes from a sense of awareness where we can feel again, back to the whole idea of this podcast, is we can feel things bubbling up. Late stage capitalism, global warming, just everything just coming to where it doesn't seem like it's going in a great direction. Even if we make improvements, things might just suck. And so maybe that's just why we've adopted that sense of humor.
Yeah.
Is a means of just dealing with it. And I also wonder if, even if, like, because my mom didn't not let me watch SpongeBob, but I was aware that she didn't like it. Like, I knew that she thought it was, like, crude and, like, not great. So I think sometimes that would, because, you know, I wanted to be a good kid. Like, so sometimes that would make me feel like I want to be like, oh, yeah, I don't like it. But I feel like I'm not the only one. I'm sure there are other people's parents who didn't say they couldn't watch it, but they knew they criticized it.
Yeah.
And then we knew that some of our friends weren't allowed to watch it. So I wonder if that's another reason why we wanted to watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, I really love how we came in the end and tied our conversation about social media into the whole theme. I think we really did a good job of coming all back around.
No, absolutely.
Before we end the show, is there any other observations you have about social media? I mean, I feel like nowadays, just as adults, in 2023, we just have this responsibility to keep up with it.
Yeah. And
it's like both of us are not like it doesn't come to us naturally.
No.
Like, I feel like some people are like kind of good at it in a way.
I totally agree. It does not. And also, like, even though I do feel the need to keep up with it and stuff, I don't know about you. I'm never on Instagram anymore unless I'm posting something or I see that someone like you or other people I'm really close to have posted something. Like, it's kind of changed in a way where it's sort of like keeping face isn't the right term, but like keeping people updated while having no interest in updating myself on like.
I think it's different for me. I think, first of all, that may be because I did hear someone the other day talking about how kids don't care about like Facebook or Instagram anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that shocked me because I think Instagram is like the social media app.
Oh, I totally
Even though
agree.
I know that TikTok is like really big and it's the thing. But I think one of the reasons you're not on Instagram is because you have TikTok. Yep. For me, I don't have any other social media. I have Snapchat, but I never get on it.
Yeah.
But I only have Instagram because even when I was younger, I like get overwhelmed. I can only deal with one social media. And because Instagram is really great at taking the features of all the other apps.
Yeah.
I look at Instagram Reels for like recipes, and then sometimes I can see TikToks that people post there.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like I stay in the like
the
loop. And then so it's the only app I use. So I actually would say I am on it because I have 2 15-minute breaks at work, and like it's like, what do I do for like 15 minutes goes by really fast. It's like, what do I do? Oh, I guess I'll just scroll on Instagram. That's
so
how
interesting.
That's also how people like I find out about like open mics or like stay in the comedy thing. Or like I don't know, I have a lot of best friends who don't live close to me and I rarely see.
Yeah.
But so I would say I use Instagram a lot.
Okay.
That's But I will say that I think we used to care a lot about what we post. I don't care. I'll put anything on my story. I just think it's funny, especially if I ever do get on Snapchat, because Snapchat has memories, and so I'll look at that.
Yes.
I will like post something on my story, and like because I'm never on it, I don't have notifications. To me, Snapchat doesn't even exist.
Oh no.
Like it doesn't matter what I put there. No
one's gonna see it.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna care. No, I feel,
which is a bad mindset to have about social media.
But I think it's also just like cool to think of how we've grown into the like acceptance of social media, because like I still know some people who are our age that got Instagram and stuff when we did, and they're still using it no hate to them, but they're still using it in a similar way that we did in high school, where we felt that we needed to look a certain way or like post a certain thing. And I'm so glad that I dug myself out of the trenches of like just feeling the need to like look a certain way or make myself look a certain way with other apps and whatever. And now it's kind of like, I'm going to post whatever I like or whatever I need to.
And that's interesting because I definitely did use Facetune and I cared about how I looked, but I feel like for me, the way I wanted to appear on social media had less to do with my physical appearance and had more to do with my life. Like, I wanted people to know, like, I was having fun.
Right.
And I was doing cool things. And, I think that's a really interesting thing. After you graduate high school and after you graduate college, we're still following a bunch of people who we haven't spoken to since high school. And I'm sure there's going to be tons of people that we won't speak to now that we've graduated college.
Yeah.
But it's like again, since we said it's like your LinkedIn profile, it's like we're seeing like, oh, how did they turn out? How did they end up? We find out people from our high school who are getting married or are having kids or are moving to this place. And it's like an update on your life. And so I like that aspect because
I love it.
There are some people who I did think of fondly, but like there's just no reason for us to talk about. And it's nice to be like, oh, like they're doing this thing. That's nice. I like it for the tea, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But then also it's kind of this new added sense of pressure where I think before, if like you didn't amount to something, maybe like I've always heard people talk about like their high school reunion, like they want to go back and show up, and like if they lost 200 pounds, they were like excited to go, or if they had this thing, or if they didn't really do anything, they were ashamed to go.
Yeah.
But now we have a high school reunion every single day, and we're constantly keeping up and like showing our ex-classmates how we ended up.
That's so true. Yeah. You just like
Blew your
boggled
mind.
my mind with that one.
Well, you know, that's why they pay me the big bucks.
Absolutely.
Wow. So thanks for diving in with me about social media.
Of course.
I feel like I thought this episode would be a lot more casual than other ones, and I think it was a little bit more casual, but I still think we explored some interesting topics. If you guys watch this, tell me. And
comments down below.
well, yeah, they won't. If you're it's like sometimes people will be like, oh, I watch, like it'll just be a friend will tell me, but I really appreciate if you're one of my friends, or if I know you and you listen to this and you like it. I love when you tell me that. I'm not acting like it happens a lot. It's happened, like I can probably count it on my hands, but
Still.
yeah, that's why this is fun. That's why it's like social media doesn't exist. It's like I can do whatever I want.
Whatever.
Thanks for getting busy being born with me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Take my advice, or you'll curse the day you started rolling down